Revenge is best served with a husband and twins. Before we start, please like and subscribe. Chapter 1: The Birthday Surprise, the Bad Kind. I've always been a sucker for birthdays. Balloons, cake and, hopefully, a diamond ring from my boyfriend of 6 years, Eric Davenport. I'd spent all day preparing. My nails were freshly manicured, painted in a classic nude shade, because I wanted them to look perfect in engagement photos. My makeup? Flawless? The red silk slip dress I wore clung to me in all the right places, and I had even put on the delicate gold necklace Eric once said he liked. Tonight was supposed to be the night, the culmination of 6 years of patience, love, and strategically ignoring red flags that, in hindsight, may as well have been on fire. I had even rehearsed my reaction. A graceful gasp, maybe a single tear for dramatic effect, and then a breathless yes, followed by a fairy tale kiss. I imagined the restaurant patrons clapping, the waiter bringing over complimentary champagne, my phone lighting up with texts from friends. Finally, instead, my phone buzzes with a different kind of surprise. A notification from Eric's social media. Odd. Eric wasn't the type to post much. His online presence was mostly curated shots of expensive watches, luxury cars, and an occasional work-related event. I frowned, clicking on it without much thought. The post loaded, slowly, like it knew it was about to ruin my life, and there it was, a photo of Eric, standing in a dimly lit, high-end restaurant, holding another woman in his arms. The caption? "This is my woman." My breath catches. My heart doesn't just drop, it plummets, crashes, and explodes into flames. Because the woman in the picture, she looks eerily like me. Long dark hair, high cheekbones, even a beauty mark near her lip. If I didn't know better, I would think it was a badly lit photo of me. But it wasn't. Her name was Anna, his supposed first love, the one he had drunkenly mentioned once, years ago, during an argument. She was my first everything. Sophie? You don't get it. I should have known. Eric had always had a flair for dramatics, a love for theatrics that made him act like he was the tragic hero in a soap opera. I stared at the photo, my mind going blank. Then the comments started rolling in. Wait, what? Where's Sophie? Dude, you were just with her last week. Is this not the same girl? That one made me snort. At least someone else saw it too. Eric had announced his new love to the world, and I was finding out about it at the same time as everyone else. I should have screamed, cried, thrown my phone at the wall, but instead, a strange calm settled over me. I was done. Not heartbroken. Not betrayed. Just done. I stood up, wiped my hands on my dress, and walked to my closet. I grabbed my suitcase and methodically packed the essentials, my passport, a few dresses, my best bikinis, my favorite perfume. I wasn't staying in this city, in this apartment filled with memories of a man who had just replaced me like a faulty iPhone charger. Then, in a moment of pure poetic justice, I grabbed the red velvet birthday cake I had bought for myself, because Eric was too busy to plan anything special, and sat on my bed. I scooped up a handful of frosting with my fingers, and ate it with all the grace of a woman who had just decided to erase a man from her life. Eric called. I blocked him. He texted. Blocked. He emailed. Spam. By midnight, I was in a cab to the airport, and as I watched the city lights blur through the window, I smiled. Because if Eric wanted to play dramatic, then guess what? I could be Shakespearean? I disappeared. Chapter 2. Enter the upgrade. Seabreeze Cove is a place you escape to when your life crumbles in the most spectacular fashion. It's all pastel-painted buildings, sun-drenched beaches, and an ocean breeze that smells like salt and the kind of freedom I never knew I needed. The guest house I checked into is charming in an old-world way, white shutters, climbing vines, and a little cafe on the veranda that serves the kind of coffee that makes you believe in second chances. I wake up on my first morning feeling light. For the first time in years, I don't have to check my phone for a message from Eric. No waiting for half-hearted texts. No overanalyzing his words. No expecting anything from him at all. I throw on a breezy sundress, slip into sandals, and make my way to the cafe. The scent of fresh pastries and espresso wraps around me like a warm embrace. I order pancakes with whipped cream because, damn it, I deserve indulgence. Then, as I take my first bite, a smooth voice interrupts my peace. Mind if I join? I glance up, and my fork stalls halfway to my mouth. The man standing before me is the kind of attractive that should come with a warning label. Tall, sharp cheekbones, just enough stubble to make him look effortlessly put together, and a lazy smirk that says he enjoys being a problem. His button-down is crisp but rolled up at the sleeves, his watch looks expensive, and the way he slides into the seat across from me tells me he's used to taking what he wants. I raise an eyebrow. You just sat down, so I don't think you actually mind if I mind. He grins, unbothered. Fair point. Do you always invade strangers' breakfasts, or is this a special occasion? You just looked interesting. He gestures at my plate. Pancakes with whipped cream. Classic breakup meal. But your outfit? That says revenge glow up. So which is it? Are you still crying or already planning his downfall? I blink at him. Excuse me? Just a guess. He shrugs, eyes glinting with mischief. Women in revenge mode tend to go for red lipstick and silk dresses. But you look like you just shed dead weight and are about to make someone very, very sorry. I narrow my eyes. Who are you? Sherlock Holmes? Nathaniel Hart. He extends a hand. And you are? Sophie Collins? His smirk deepens. Collins, huh? Interesting. I tilt my head. Why? Nothing, he says, too smoothly. Just didn't expect to meet someone as fascinating as you over pancakes. I scoff, shaking my head. But a small smile tugs at my lips. There's something about Nathaniel, something effortless, sharp, dangerous. The kind of man who doesn't just walk into a room, but owns it without saying a word. And for the first time in weeks, I feel something close to amusement. Nathaniel orders coffee black, the kind of choice that tells me he doesn't bother with sugar or softness. He leans back, watching me like I'm an unsolved mystery, and I let him. What follows is an unexpected rhythm. Mornings with coffee, lazy walks along the beach, and conversations filled with sarcasm and challenge. Nathaniel is the type of man who knows he's charming, and wields it like a weapon. But he doesn't try to impress me. That alone makes him more interesting than Eric ever was. I catch him watching me sometimes, not in the way men do when they just want something, but like he's studying me, cataloging details he isn't ready to share yet. Then, one evening, over a bonfire at the beach it happens. The fire crackles between us, laughter from other guests filling the air. But there's a stillness in our space, a moment suspended in something I can't quite name. Nathaniel sips his drink, then leans in slightly. You deserve better than whatever mess you left behind, he says casually, like it's not about to undo me. I go still. Because that's the thing, isn't it? I spent 6 years hoping Eric would choose me. 6 years making myself smaller, more patient, more understanding. I held on to his crumbs like they were a feast, convinced that one day he'd realize I was enough. And here is this man, this stranger, looking at me like I've been enough all along. I swallow, my voice softer than I mean it to be. What makes you so sure I left a mess behind? Nathaniel watches me for a long moment, then smirks. Because you don't look heartbroken. You look free. And just like that, I know I'm in trouble. The trouble becomes official at a beach party. It starts off innocent enough: bonfires, music, the scent of salt and grilled seafood in the air. I'm sipping a mojito, enjoying the warm buzz of alcohol and freedom, when he appears. A guy with tequila breath, a too-tight tank top, and the misplaced confidence of a man who has never heard the word no before. Hey, sweetheart, he slurs, his grin lopsided. You look lonely. I glance around pointedly. I'm literally surrounded by people. He ignores that. Wanna dance? No thanks. Ugh, don't be shy. He steps closer, his breath aggressively alcoholic now. I take a step back. Not interested. Come on, he coaxes, and his hand just brushes my arm. Okay, that's it, I said. Back off, I snap. But instead of leaving like a sane person, he smirks. Oh, I hate that smirk. It's the same one Eric used to give me when he thought I was being adorably stubborn. The kind that says, she'll change her mind. She just needs convincing. Before I can throw my drink at him, which was definitely my next move, I panic blurt the first thing that comes to mind: my husband is right over there. The moment the words leave my mouth, I freeze. Whoa, no. I don't have a husband. I don't even have a boyfriend. I have an ex who publicly replaced me like I was last season's designer bag. But before I can take it back, I see movement from the bar. Nathaniel. He had been leaning against the counter, nursing a whiskey, looking like a man who has never been on the losing end of anything. Now he straightens, rolls his shoulders, and starts walking toward me. Deliberately, purposefully, like he just heard me claim him. Whoa. Oh. By the time he reaches me, I'm regretting everything. Nathaniel drapes an arm around my waist with the ease of someone who's done it 1,000 times. He's warm, solid, and way too good at this. His voice is smooth, lazy, but there's an unmistakable steel underneath. Is there a problem? Tank top tequila breath stammers. His smirk disappears so fast it might have been a hallucination. And no man, he mutters. Just talking? Nathaniel's grip tightens slightly. Not possessively, but protectively. His eyes never leave the guy. You were talking, Nathaniel agrees, voice casual. Now you're leaving. The guy nods frantically, throws out some half-baked apology, and practically trips over himself as he scrambles away. I exhale. Thanks. Nathaniel glances down at me, amusement flickering in his eyes. Husband, huh? I wince. It was the first thing that popped into my head. He hums, tilting his head like he's considering something. And then, with the ease of a man ordering an extra shot at a bar, he says, well, if you're going to call me that, we might as well make it real. I choke on my drink. Excuse me? Nathaniel smirks. Marry me? I stare at him. Blink. Blink again. You're joking. He shrugs. Am I? I gape at him. Are you insane? A little. He takes a slow sip of his whiskey. But think about it. It'll drive your ex insane. And I happen to enjoy playing the role of the perfect husband. I scoff. Perfect husband? That's a bold claim. I look good in a suit, he says smoothly. And I never forget anniversaries. I narrow my eyes. Sounds rehearsed. Maybe, he admits, grin widening. But it's still true. I laugh. I joke. I tell myself this is ridiculous. And then, I marry him 3 weeks later. Oops. Chapter 4. The petty kings regret. I should have known Eric would come crawling back. The thing about men like him? They don't regret losing you until they realize you're actually gone. It takes exactly 2 months. 2 months of absolute silence. 2 months of me living my best life, waking up in a sun-drenched villa, sipping coffee that Nathaniel makes with an annoyingly perfect balance of sugar and cream, and falling asleep to the steady rhythm of his breathing beside me. 2 months of realizing that this, the laughter, the easy affection, the feeling of being truly seen, was what love was supposed to be. And then, one evening, just as I'm stepping out of the shower, a knock echoes through the house. Nathaniel is in the kitchen, humming to himself as he dices vegetables, like a man who has never lost an argument in his life. He doesn't react to the sound. I frown. No one ever knocks here. I tighten my robe, pad barefoot to the door, and swing it open. And there he is, Eric Davenport, looking disheveled, pathetic, and dramatic, like a man who just realized he bet on the wrong horse. His hair is a mess, his shirt is wrinkled, and his eyes that used to scan over me like I was nothing more than an accessory, are now filled with something that almost looks like panic. For a moment, I just stare, because this is what I spent 6 years waiting for. This man. Sophie, he breathes. I lift an unimpressed eyebrow. Huh, you're still alive. He steps closer. I was wrong. I cross my arms. Whoa, it was always you, he says, his voice full of desperation. Anna was just an obsession. But you. He swallows thickly, reaching for my hand. You are my heart. I blink. And then, I burst out laughing. I mean, really laughing. The kind that makes my stomach hurt. That has me bracing against the doorframe because this is the best joke I've ever heard. Eric's expression shifts from tragic to confused. I'm sorry, I gasp between laughs, wiping an imaginary tear. That was just so good. Did you rehearse that in the mirror? Or was it like a last-minute improvisation? His jaw tightens. Sophie, I'm being serious. Oh, I know, I say, still chuckling. That's what makes it so funny. His face crumples. Please. God, Sophie, I've been miserable without you. I tilt my head. Interesting. I don't recall you being miserable when you were posting pictures with your soulmate on social media. He flinches. That was a mistake. A stupid mistake. He sighs heavily. I thought I wanted her. But it wasn't real. Not like us. There it is. The classic I screwed up. But please fix me speech. I should be furious. 2 months ago, this might have broken me. But now I just feel a delicious sense of satisfaction. I take a slow, deliberate step back, folding my arms. Let me get this straight. You dumped me publicly, replaced me with a discount version of myself, and now that it's not working out, you want me to, what? Take you back? He runs a hand through his hair, frustrated. I was stupid, okay? No argument there. His eyes plead. Just give me another chance. I sigh. Eric. His face brightens, hopeful. I smirk. You were my biggest mistake. The hope shatters. But, I add, resting my hand on the doorframe, thank you. His brows furrow. For what? For teaching me exactly what I never want in a man. His mouth opens. Closes. Sophie, please. Whoa! I snap my fingers, like I just remembered something. One more thing before you go. He looks at me, desperate, grasping for anything to hold on to. I rest a hand on my stomach, and drop the bombshell. I'm pregnant. With my husband's child. Silence. Delicious, deafening silence. Eric's entire body locks up. His eyes flicker from my face to my stomach, like he's trying to process the words, but his brain refuses to accept them. You're what? His voice cracks. Pregnant, I repeat slowly, savoring every syllable. With Nathaniel's child. My husband's child. I watch it happen in real time. The moment his last shred of hope dies, his hands clench, his jaw twitches, his eyes darken with something ugly, something that says he never thought I'd move on, that he assumed I'd always be waiting. I grip the door. Well, this has been fun. Then, click. The door shuts. Goodbye, Eric? From the kitchen, Nathaniel's voice drifts out lazily, completely unbothered. That sounded deeply satisfying. I turn, grinning. You have no idea. He smirks. You want to celebrate by letting me rub your feet. I pretend to consider. Throw in a back massage, and we have a deal. He winks. Done. And just like that, Eric is nothing but a lesson I once had to learn. Epilogue. The sweetest revenge. 2 years later, I'm back in Seabreeze Cove. This time, it's not just me. It's me and my twin boys. One is crawling across the sand like a man on a mission, digging his chubby hands into the grains, while the other is proudly holding a seashell. One that's a bit too large for his tiny hand before launching it directly at Nathaniel's head. Incoming! I shout, but Nathaniel doesn't even flinch. He's used to it. The seashell bounces off his forehead, and he dramatically brushes the sand off his expensive linen shirt, like it's a life or death situation. This is your fault, you know, he mutters, shooting me a mock glare. They inherited your chaos. I laugh, sipping my cocktail as I watch the chaos unfold. You married the chaos, I reply sweetly, raising my glass in his direction. Should have read the fine print, Nathaniel grins, pulling me closer. And I'm not complaining. His lips meet mine in a kiss that still makes my heart skip. It's the kind of kiss that says I've got you and you're mine. Forever. I turn back toward the twins, laughing as they chase each other in the sand, shrieking with that pure joy only toddlers can manage. I raise my glass, clinking it lightly against Nathaniel's. Cheers, I say, my voice steady, but with a hint of mischievousness. To the biggest plot twist of my life. Nathaniel laughs softly, his gaze lingering on me with adoration. And to the sweetest revenge. I take a long sip, savoring the taste of my victory. For a moment, everything feels still, like the world has finally balanced itself out, and all the chaos, the heartbreak, the drama, was worth it. Every single bit of it.